So a gremolata is just a basic mix of olive oil, parsley, lemons, garlic, and then some salt. Like I said, I like to throw in a bit of extra seasoning. So to begin with, I would start with about a cup of olive oil. And then one bunch of parsley. Typically I would use the Italian flat leaf parsley, but my grocery store was out of it today. So unfortunately this is where we're going, but it's gonna taste the same, so it really doesn't matter. You just wanna do a rough chop on this. Some recipes of this and some styles, people chop it up much finer than this, and you could do that if you wanted. I just like it a little bit chunky, and I like some of the stems in there. Because this is gonna serve, for the most part, I use this as a marinade for tinned fish. Today we're gonna just put some on top of this Ortiz Spanish tuna. It's already packed in olive oil, but I like the quality of this olive oil a bit better, and I want you to use an extra virgin olive oil because this isn't something you're gonna cook, you're going to taste this. So I will typically drain the olive oil off of a can of really good quality tuna, or sometimes I use sardines. I also like this product, which is a branzino, already packaged and preserved in a tin from, I believe this is from Spain. So all of these are usually available in specialty markets. Ortiz tuna, you can usually get at Whole Foods. It's one of the best ones. It's a little pricey. There's a brand called Tonino, which is a domestic product that looks Italian, which is actually good, also packed in olive oil. But any good quality tuna packed in olive oil is gonna work for this, but I drain the olive oil out. So we'll just put these stems aside, and we're gonna put the parsley in there and just let it soak down into the bottom. Then we're going to take 2 to 3 large garlic cloves. Now you can just do this with your knife and do it very, very fine. But I love this little, I guess you call it a garlic mandolin. I call it the little garlic guillotine, because you can put like 3 cloves in there, and then it just slides across this little guillotine and comes out in really perfect little slices. I just think this looks really pretty when you serve it. And I like to let this gremolata set up about 12 hours so that it's really good, the flavors have been absorbed. And you can use as much garlic as you'd like. You could use less if you want. This is all very flexible to your taste. The lemons, again, you can cut, I want you to cut these very, very thin. I'm using a lemon that I've already taken the zest off of for another recipe, but I think it'll be fine for this. But you want to cut this very thinly. I like to use the mandolin just because it's very consistent. I know a lot of people are afraid of a mandolin, but this is a glove. I got this on Amazon. This is a category 5 glove, which means it takes 2,200 grams of pressure to slice through it. I'm very careful on the mandolin, and I always recommend using the guard because it's very easy to slice off the tip of your finger. But I also really like this glove because it really does help protect you, and it just gives you more tactile feel. So I just want to take a few slices of lemon, maybe 4, 5, 6 slices, very thin. I have a cut on my finger, so this is gonna hurt like a mother. I should probably be wearing gloves. So I like to take these lemons and stack them just like this, and then cut them in quarters, and then put that lemon in the gremolata mix. And I want to get that down inside of this olive oil, make sure it's really well mixed in. Over the course of 10 or 12 hours, the olive oil and the salt you're gonna put in here, and I'm gonna squeeze the rest of this lemon just to get the juice in. It's just such a good summery flavor. But I like to get this mixed in, and then we're going to use some coarse kosher sea salt. Let's say maybe 1.5 teaspoons. to start out with. You don't want to make this too salty. You want to be careful. And blend that together. And just stir this in. Make sure it's all really well combined. If you want, you can put just a little more olive oil in if you don't think that it's got quite enough. And again, this is going to keep in your refrigerator for a week, week and a half. The fresh garlic will start breaking down in that, so you want to use this up in probably about 7 to 9 days and keep it in the refrigerator. But let it sit for about 10 hours. Those flavors are really going to meld together. So a couple of extra things that I like to put in this are, I like to put in red pepper flake, and again, this is completely optional. It's about probably half a teaspoon. Just crush that between your fingers so it releases some oils. And another thing I really like are capers. Now these capers are salt cured. So they're not in the vinegar like you see most capers from the store. So I'm just gonna finish this up. I like these because they're actually just salty flavored. They're not briny like the ones that are preserved in vinegar. So they don't have that real big kick of vinegar. They actually have a really deep, mellow, salty flavor. But you wanna rinse these off. You don't wanna use all that salt. So I'm going off camera just a little bit here to rinse the salt off in my hand. Then we're just going to take that little handful of those salt cured capers. These are not the easiest things to find. I get these at an Italian market here in Dallas. That's where I usually find them, but you can easily find these on Amazon and have them delivered. I don't remember the exact cost, but they're not too expensive. And just a handful like that. You're going to mix this together. Like I said, you're going to let this sit for about 10 hours. We're just going to clean our cutting board off. And that's pretty well the Gremolata already made up. So this is going to get really garlicky and lemony, nice and a little salty. It's super flavorful. So what you're going to do now is you can use, like I said, you've got plenty here. You're not going to use nearly all of this. But we're going to open up today, we're going to open up this Ortiz tuna, and we'll have that for my dinner tonight. You can also drain some sardines out of a can, drain the oil off of it. And I promise when you mix this with sardines and you serve it with some crusty French bread, that your guests, when you have a party, will eat that as an appetizer and never complain about it, even if they think that sardines are terrible. I have served this more times than I care to mention, and people just rave about it. And these are people who would never eat a sardine. So to prepare the tuna, we're just going to open this tin. I'm going to show you what this looks like. So this is the tuna packed in what they say is olive oil. This is just olive oil. It's not extra virgin olive oil. So this is probably the third press of olive oil. It's very clear. When they pack tuna in an olive oil like this, it stays super moist and it's just got such better flavor. But we're going to take this and we're just going to, I just hold my hand over this and drain the oil out. Then I just discard it. Now I'm going to just gently take this tuna out, and it's going to come out in big chunks. This Ortiz tuna is about this size is $6.99 right now. It has gotten up to $8.99 during kind of the height of the pandemic. This comes from Spain. This is consistently rated the best tin tuna in the world. But like I said, you can find other ones that are oil packed. Wild Planet now has an albacore that's oil packed. But I just like to take a little bit of this. And I'm going to put these nice tuna chunks on a plate. I typically open 2 or 3 of these cans. And then I just put the Gremolata on top. Pretty healthy amount. And some of the olive oil. And then I like to let this sit for about, I want the Gremolata to sit for about 8 to 10 hours, and I like this to sit for a couple of hours. So this is something you can easily do a day ahead of a party. This is delicious, just served on toasted bread. This is great for dinner. I love to make a sandwich on a baguette out of this with the Gremolata, the tuna, fresh tomatoes. It's delicious for summer. It's a great summer salad. And that's pretty well Gremolata. You can take the Gremolata and mix it with pasta. You can just dip bread in it. It's perfectly good that way. It's got a lot of uses, but this is a wonderful summer lemony parsley flavor that people are gonna love, and you're gonna really enjoy having this for dinner.